Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Developing a Proper Worldview. This is episode number 102. We're in section 6, the New World Order. And as always, if you're just catching this video randomly or you're new to the channel, make sure you go back and watch these from the beginning. They're done in a purposeful order, hence the title Developing a Proper Worldview. And it's important that you watch these in order. Don't just jump into it midstream here because we're building upon each previous video, so it's very important that you watch them in the order they're filmed. As always, we kind of changed up well, I guess it wouldn't be as always then, but the last several videos we changed up the intro because of YouTube censoring. We used to just, I used to just preface the video talking about everything leading up to that video and then trying to jump into that video. But YouTube started taking down numerous of these developing series videos, and there's just too many taboo topics that they consider off limits, and they take down. Like, I don't know if they monitor for certain keywords or if they have YouTube snitches out there. The woke mob that looks for controversial topics to take them down. I don't know what the case is, but they took down several, and I thought, man, it just ain't worth it. Especially as we get into more and more controversial subjects. I hate them banning stuff. It's ridiculous, and then I worry about them taking down my channel altogether and losing all this content. So what we started doing instead was just kind of talking about modern topics. What's going on in the world right now as it relates to our subject, as it relates to the New World Order, and then I'll put that small intro video on YouTube and link the Rumble video where you can watch the whole thing. So the intro today is going to be pretty short. I don't have a whole lot to talk about as far as current events. I guess I really don't know too much of what's going on. It's kind of quiet. I tend to think it's quiet before the storm. Here we are, 8 days now before the Trump's inauguration, and it's way too suspicious for me. It's the left has gone passive. They've gone silent. They've gone almost cordial, and that's kind of frightening because it's like, what are they preparing for? It's the hatred, the vitriol, I think is what they call it, against Trump has really quieted down. We're seeing so-called victories across the world. Trudeau just stepped down in Canada. He was a terrible New World Order puppet. Over in Europe, there's a couple of different governments where it looks like anti-New World Order populist movements are taking over. And in the meantime, the powers in control, the elites that run everything, that still run it regardless of who we elected, again, they own everything. They control it. It's if they allow opposition into power, there's a purpose behind it. It doesn't just happen against their will. Trump didn't come into power because they were defeated. They allowed him to come into power to serve their purposes, and what that is anybody's guess. We've talked about that numerous times. We know their end game. But we don't know exactly how they're going to get there. We can read what they write, and we can listen to what they say, and we can develop theories on how they plan on getting there. But they're coming at it from a thousand different points. They have numerous different methods of achieving their goals, and everybody talks about how Trump is playing 3D chess while his opponents are playing checkers, and the reality is it's so silly to say that. The people in control, they're playing a game that we're not even involved with. We're not even on the board. Um, so the Patriot movie, the Patriot movement, um, the and again, this is why it's so important to have a biblical foundation. You have to have the Bible as your foundation of truth. You have to be born again so that you can spiritually understand what it is that's going on in the world. Once you have that biblical foundation, once you know the scriptures, you know that world government will come to pass. The New World Order will happen. Maybe it won't be called that, but that authoritarian antichrist system of government, the totalitarian satanic world domination is going to happen. It can't be stopped. It can't be thwarted. Why? Because the scriptures foretell it and God doesn't lie. What is written will come to pass. When is something we don't know. And again, that's why we read the scriptures and we try to pray and spiritually discern the times that we're in. Jesus said that it's like telling when fall's coming. You can look at the trees and you can know, okay, fall's coming. You can look around the world with spiritual eyes and you can say, okay, the end is coming. This antichrist system is near. The tribulation of the saints, the persecution of the saints is drawing nigh, and Christ's return is coming soon. We can look and see, and again, we do that by listening to world leaders, world politicians, and how they talk. They talk about forming a world government. They talk about an ecumenical religious movement. They talk about a implantable chip for banking. They openly discuss these things. They openly talk about these things. They openly celebrate and promote these things. And when you look at the type of system they're trying to set up, and you see that it's immoral, that it's wicked, that it is antichrist. We look at stuff like that and we go, okay, those are the signs. Those are the tree leaves turning orange that make us go, man, it's drawing nigh. And so we look at those things, and again, if you have that biblical understanding and you know this is coming, then you know it can't be stopped. You know that we don't get victory this side of heaven. We don't get victory until Christ returns. We will suffer persecution. We will be hated. Evil will wax worse and worse. It's a downhill slide that we're on. There's moments of reprieve, sure. There's moments of revival because all things are in God's timing, and He has wisdom that we're unaware of. You know, He knows how to orchestrate events and to work things all in His perfect timing. So while things are certainly progressing towards it, He can step in and offer a moment of reprieve. We don't know when exactly things are going to kick off. We just know that they are, and we know to watch for those signs. And so when the Patriot movement and the anti-New World Order people that don't have that biblical foundation, they start to see these victories. They start to think that we can win. They think we can overthrow this authoritarian system. You know, those without a biblical foundation refer to those in power as globalists. They think it's just an ideology battle between national sovereignty and autonomy and world government. And they think it's just this physical battle. And if we can get the right people into office, if we can expose these evils, if we can change public opinion, then we can save the nation and we can enter a time of prosperity. And again, God could grant a reprieve. Those things could happen, but ultimately this world system will occur. And so these supposed victories we're seeing, when you have that biblical knowledge, it makes you go, When you know that the Bible says that the world belongs to Satan and the kingdoms of the world belong to him, and he does with them as he pleases. He puts people into power that worship him. It's a Luciferian system. And again, those people are still in power. Trump was elected But the people that run BlackRock and the people that run Vanguard and the people that run the Federal Reserve and the people that own the banking systems and the people that own all the major corporations, all the media institutions, they remain in power. Trump getting voted in didn't take away their power. And that is the true power base. It's not our elected officials. They answer to corporate masters. Even when they're trying to resist, they're going to be thwarted through policies, through lobbyists, through various means that are beyond what we're aware of, but they're going to be stopped. Hillary Clinton, when she was running for president, she gave a speech at the Council of Foreign Relations, and she said kind of tongue-in-cheek, it'll be nice to be here in Washington because I don't have to go far to get my orders. She was referring to the people at the CFR, that they give her the orders. That's how this system works. These corporate excuse me, these corporate overlords, they're the true power base. They dictate policy. They control the money. They control the means of production. They control world events. They can stop whatever elected officials are trying to do. If Trump were to really start to implement anti-New World Order policies, you don't think these guys are going to do something to stop that? You don't think they're going to, they'll go as far, they'll start a nuclear war. They don't care. They'll unleash things from China. You know, they'll, you know what I'm talking about. I can't say certain things. They'll do whatever it takes. They'll cause civil war. So when they back off and they go silent, it's kind of scary, because it's like, okay, what is their agenda? Now, sure, they might have an agenda that includes a time of prosperity, a time where it looks like the Patriot the Patriot movement. Can't talk. It's late. You know, maybe part of their plan allows this time of reprieve. And so maybe we will get 4 years of decency. Maybe we will get 4 years of economic prosperity. But what we won't get is a defeat of them. Whatever they allow to happen is advancing their cause. And as it stands right now, they still have their Agenda 2030. They still want their New World Order system in play by 2030. And again, we've discussed how they move the goalpost, they adjust, they gauge the temperature of society, they gauge how much they can get away with, and they change policy based on that. But as far as I know, they haven't changed from the 2030 agenda yet. That's still their goal. And there's still things they got to do. There's still, which means chaos, because that's how they get their agenda implemented. They cause chaos to cause society to be frightened and panicked, and then they offer their New World Order solution, or some various aspect of their New World Order as the solution, and use their propaganda machine to convince people that this is the answer. This is how we avoid whatever scary panic situation we're in. And through those, so when 2030 is their goal and we're so close to it, and there's still things they need to achieve, namely, like the biggest one, I guess, would be the cashless society. They still have to get that into play. The technology exists to make it happen. Smart readers and digital currency, you know, the technology exists to move everything to just a digital, and the technology exists to have microchips be the means by which you purchase, and the technology exists to have those microchips implanted in you, so that you always have it with you, so that you're identified through that technology exists. So it wouldn't take much for them to implement. It would take some sort of chaotic event to get society to go along with it. So I'm thinking, with 8 days before the inauguration, maybe they'd let this go off seamless and then do something. And I think I've mentioned before that I think it'll probably be economic collapse. I think they're gonna cause some sort of depression, bank closures, um, resources drying up. You know, they control that. They control the banks. They control the agriculture. They control it all. So they can do that. They did it in the 1920s. So, anyways, I guess that's all I got for an introduction. So if you are watching on YouTube, this will be the end of the video. You'll want to click the link down in the description. Jump over to Rumble and watch the full video. We're going to be wrapping up the dark clouds over Elberton. I think we got about 45 minutes left, so we should be able to wrap this up here tonight. Yeah, so let's jump into it.